Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. Welcome back. I'm happy that you are here. Spades is like a staple in the black community. Everybody loves how to play spades. If you don't know how to play spades, it's like a unwritten taboo violation. You're going to get clown talked about, but in all harmless fun. I know how to play spades. I learned how to play spades at an early age. Even though I'm not a card player per se, I know how to play spades. I know the rules of the game. I know how to play the game. And one of the biggest unwritten rules, one of the biggest violations when it comes to spades is reneging. Reneging is when someone leads a hand with a certain suit and you have a card in that suit, but you choose not to play that card. Instead, you play something else, most notably a spade, in hopes of winning later on in the game. You can't do that. If someone leads with a diamond and you have a diamond in your hand, you got to play that diamond. If someone leads with a club and you have a club in your hand, you got to play that club. You cannot renege. You cannot overskip that club or that diamond and play a spade in hopes of winning that book and winning the game later on. You can't do that. So in regards to life, we renege a lot. You know what I'm saying? We renege a lot. We don't make the rules in life. We just got to deal with the hand that we was dealt. That's a fact. It's not cliche. But we renege a lot. Sometimes when we have something in our arsenal, sometimes when we have an idea, when we have abilities, when we have resources, we overstep those resources or we skip them and we choose not to use those resources. We choose not to play that hand and do something differently in hopes that it's going to work out for us in our favor later on down the line. That's a form of self-sabotage. If you have the resources, if you have the connection, if you have the ability to do something, why wait? Get it done right now. Continue to do what you got to do right now so you can get forward and make things happen in the future. Stop trying to think, oh, well, maybe if I do this instead and do that later. No, why wait till later? Do it now. If you got the resources, if you got the connection, if you have the ability to do something, do it now. Why are you waiting? Why are you reneging on yourself? That makes zero sense. And that's what we do in life. It's not just spades, it's in life. It's a violation in spades, but it's a bigger violation in life because you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're keeping yourself stuck in a certain position all because of something in your mind tells you that, oh, maybe I should just do it this way instead. That's too easy. Ain't no such thing as something that's being too easy when you have something in your arsenal at your disposal. Stop reneging on yourself. We have to stop self-sabotaging ourselves. And why we do that? It's because we are so used to trauma. We are so used to disappointment. We are so used to things having to be hard when they don't have to be hard in certain situations. Life is already hard. Entrepreneurship is already hard. Chasing your dreams is already hard. So why make it harder on yourself and self-sabotage yourself and renege on yourself? That makes zero sense. But we're so used to trauma. We're so used to disappointment. We're so used to things not going in our favor. You got to understand something. In the beginning, you didn't start with trauma. You didn't start with disappointment. You didn't start with despair. Let me tell y'all something, man. And this is real talk. We have to stop coming from a place of trauma as if that's the beginning. We talk about it all the time with Black America. We didn't start in slavery. We started on the shores of Africa. Wherever country that may be, we started on that continent. We didn't start in slavery. The history of Black Americans didn't begin in slavery. Black people outdate slavery. Black people go back to the beginning of time. But because of the school system, because of the things we see on social media, the things we see in the media as a whole, we think that slavery was the beginning. We think that our history literally started in slavery. We did not start in trauma, and your life did not start in trauma. That's what you have to understand. It doesn't matter what you went through. Let me tell you something. I went through a lot in my childhood. When I was applying to Columbia College, Chicago, after I graduated from undergrad, I wanted to go to film school there. When I was writing my whole thesis letter and all that bullshit to get in, I was filling the paper with nothing but trauma. I overcame this. I overcame that. I had to go through this. I went through this. That's cool. It built my character. It made me who I am. But that's not where my story began. In the beginning, your story did not begin with that trauma. Your story did not begin with whatever you went through. In the beginning, your story began with hope. Your story began with destiny. Your story began with happiness, with joy, with ambition, with all of those positive things. In the beginning, you were made with love from God and the Creator. That's where you came from. That's the beginning of your story. It's not the trauma you went through. It's not the hell that you had to endure. That's not your beginning. That's just part of your story. It's a chapter, but it's not the beginning. And because we are so used to all of these negative things, because we're so used to despair, to trauma, to disappointment, we think that we have to self-sabotage ourselves and renege so we can continue to keep that cycle going. Stop making it harder on yourself. Life is already hard. Entrepreneurship is already hard. Everything we have to go through, everything we're striving to accomplish is already hard. So why make it harder on yourself? If you got a club in your hand, if you got a diamond in your hand, play that card. Stop reneging on yourself because you already got the spades. And the spades gonna get played anyway. You gonna win this hand. You have to continue to play your hand and play your game, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the facts. It don't matter what you went through. It don't matter what you're up against. Whatever resources you have in your disposal, whatever leverage you have, whatever intellect, whoever connection you have to utilize that right now and continue to go forward. Stop waiting. Don't say, oh, I'm just going to hold out until later. No, do it now. Do it now. It's July. Today's date is what? July 13th, 14th, something like that. Do it now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 7th month of the year. Time is going by fast like that. It was literally just New Year's Day, 2021. We're about to be in 2022. The pandemic is about to be 2 years ago. Before you blink and look up, do it now. Everything you have in your arsenal, everything you have at your disposal, do it now. Every idea, execute, write it out, and do it now. Stop waiting. Stop reneging on yourself. Because remember, in the beginning, it was ambition. In the beginning, it was destiny. In the beginning, it was you. In the beginning, it was love, a God creation. That's the beginning of your story. Don't allow all of these negative things, these chapters in your life to define your beginning, to define your story. In the beginning, it was you, and you had a purpose. And it's time to continue to go forward and fulfill that purpose, ladies and gentlemen. So that's my message this morning. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. In the beginning, don't mistake a bad chapter for your start. It wasn't. It's just a process. It's a small, minute period of your story. But in the beginning, it was ambition. In the beginning, it was you created by God. And therefore, you have to stop self-sabotaging. You have to stop telling yourself that, oh, I'm going to do it later. Stop reneging on your dreams. Stop reneging on your talent. Stop reneging on your skills. And go forward and just make it happen. If this podcast has benefited you in any way, shape, or form, I ask for two things as always. Number one, leave a 5-star review. And number two, pass it on to a friend who may benefit from it as well. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you next week.